The San Francisco-Oakland Bay Toll Bridge, owned and operated by the people of California, was opened to traffic in November 1936, after 3.5 years have been devoted to its construction, and it represents a total investment of over $77 million. The city of San Francisco is a strategic gateway to Northern California, as well as an important port of call for ships that sail the 7 seas. Its present population exceeds 750,000 inhabitants. The history of this modern metropolis goes back to the days of the Spanish Padres, who in 1769 marked the places favorable for their missions, and from the calendar of saints and angels drew names to designate the various locations. The Franciscan fathers named this city after their patron saint, St. Francis, and today the spiritual heritage of San Francisco is perpetuated in its magnificent churches and cathedrals. Outstanding among the famous landmarks of San Francisco is the Golden Gate Bridge, the longest single-span bridge in the world. A significant reminder of the part that San Francisco has played in the staging of world fairs is the Palace of Fine Arts, which still stands on the site of the International Exposition of 1915. A quarter of a century spans this impressive landmark and the Golden Gate International Exposition of 1939 and 1940. Which was built upon a man-made island known as Treasure Island. Among the memorable attractions of this exposition was Adolf Wallmann's production, known as the Cavalcade of the Golden West, which vividly portrayed Western development from the dawn of history up to modern times. And it is now our privilege to revive a few of the more colorful scenes from that great pageantry of the West, as it was witnessed by the vast multitudes of people who attended the exposition. In grave contrast with the gaiety of the early Spanish settlers were the picturesque caravans of pioneers from the East, some in quest of the gold that was discovered near San Francisco in 1849, and others seeking a better place in which to build their homes and establish their families. Courageous, determined people were these pioneers, braving long and extreme hardships with nothing to sustain them but faith. Faith in their God and faith in the potentialities of the Golden West. Aside from being a source of inspiration for many of the world's most thrilling adventure stories, the Wells-Fargo stagecoach was a most important factor in establishing contact between the East and the West. And following the stagecoach came the great iron horse. Here is reenacted the impressive ceremony that took place over 70 years ago, when the trains of the Union Pacific and Central Pacific first met, and Leland Stanford drove the golden spike which completed the Pacific Railway. And now we behold the pageant of San Francisco as it was at the turn of the 19th century. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime, strolling through the shady lane with your baby mine, for she's your tootsie wootsy in the good old summertime. Two little girls in blue land, two little girls in blue. They were sisters, we were brothers, and learned to love the two. And one little girl in blue land, who won your father's heart, became your mother. I married the other, but we have drifted apart. And so the Cavalcade of the Golden West, which is synonymous with that of San Francisco, was dramatized at the Golden Gate Exposition, recalling the thrilling story of the American pioneers who blazed the trails of the United States and brought the flags of many nations into the folds of one, the one that now waves jubilantly over the land of the free and the home of the brave. When liberty's form stands in view,